All right, I'm back after not doing one of these for many weeks. I apologize. So today I'd like to talk about self-care, and I'm going to do an eyeshadow look using this beautiful palette that I am obsessed with, the Anastasia Beverly Hills Prism palette. I did not get the Subculture palette, and I'm really glad I didn't, because this is way prettier, in my opinion. Look at those shades. Oh my god. Anyways, so I don't think I've talked about self-care on here before, but it fits really well for me anyways, because I do think of makeup, at least for myself, as part of self-care. But let's go back for a second. What really is self-care? Well, it's caring for yourself, right? It's taking care of yourself in various ways. Some of those ways might not always be very comfortable, but it's still important for your well-being or for your growth, etc. And I'll get more into that in a little bit, but yeah. So let's get started with the makeup look. So I'm going to start by priming my eyes with Urban Decay's eyeshadow primer, which honestly, I don't know if I'm a fan of anymore. It just kind of, I don't know. It just seems very, not as smooth as it could be. I don't know. This is the only eyeshadow primer I've ever tried, so I don't really have anything to go on, but every time I do this, I'm reminded by how little eye space I have, which is super annoying. So if you have big, luscious eyelids, thank your lucky stars, because that means your eyeshadow gets to show better, basically. So yeah, lucky you. Okay, so that's done. And then I'm still kind of deciding about the look to do for this, but I think I know what I'm gonna do. I'm also just kind of gonna dive into this palette and do whatever, so I don't know how it's gonna look, but we'll see, right? We'll deal with it. It's just makeup. So I'm gonna take my very pretty Spectrum Cosmetics brush. Oh, look at that, so pretty. And I'm gonna go into, let's see, I think I'm gonna do Unity. Right here, this one, as just sort of an all-over shade for my eyes. So when we think of self-care, I think part of the problem with like the current buzzword of self-care these days is that it's now looked at as like, oh, if you're gonna, like self-care is only this or it's only that, and it's typically all of these like super expensive things that, let's be real, like we can't all afford, like massages or, getting our nails done or even getting our hair done or, like all of that stuff for sure can be self-care, but it's not always accessible to everybody, right? And there are much more things you can do for self-care that don't require the same amount of funds, basically. So as much as I love getting a massage, I don't always have the money. In fact, I most often don't have the money to get a massage. So I like to think of self-care as, other things too. So drinking water, making sure that you're hydrated. That's something that I think largely goes unnoticed by a lot of people, right? So I'm going to delve into still figuring out this camera. Eden, this shade. It's kind of a pink. Pink, actually, yeah, I'm gonna do that. Okay, sorry. I'm just gonna do that in my crease. So you know what I mean though, like self-care, it's just like, it's become highly romanticized in some ways, and it's great that like it's getting brought into it's getting more brought into our culture and society, but it's also, like I said, becoming really romanticized and kind of like, okay, well, self-care are only these things. These things are considered self-care, and everything else is like, not really, or not as good self-care or something, which is BS. So that's something important to recognize even within yourself. Like, what are your thoughts about self-care? Do you think that it's only one type of thing? Why is that? Sort of, ask yourself these questions and evaluate, like, really, like, for yourself, like, what do you think self-care is? Why? Where did you get that idea? And yeah. So I'm still just putting this color Eden in my crease. And of course, as I say every time I do an eyeshadow look, if you are somebody like me who has hooded eyes, you gotta do that. You gotta make that crease a little bit taller, because otherwise it does not get shown. So yeah. Okay. Now I am going to go in with, where is my other brush? Okay. So some people don't like or use the brushes that come with these palettes. I don't mind them. I don't know. I'm not fancy. I don't have a ton of brushes from like brushes are expensive if you want to get like hardcore brushes, and I'd rather, I don't know, not spend my money on that. But so I'm going to go in with the brush that came with the palette, and I think I'm going to use, I'm going to kind of mix Saturn, which is like a deeper color than what I just used. So Saturn's right, god damn it, here. And then I'm going to use, you can't really see it that well. It's deeper than the color I just used, that Eden color. And then I'm going to also use Parallel, which is just basically a chocolate brown. I'm going to do that on the outer corners, kind of. Sound good? Okay, I hope so. So, oops, wrong way. Don't want to see myself that extreme close-up. So lately on Guerrilla Feminism's Instagram, I've been using the poll feature, and maybe some of you have been interacting with these, I don't know. I've been using the poll feature to sort of ask people questions that, are basically about their self-care, Some questions might be really difficult for people. Like, do you love yourself? Do you feel like you love yourself today? Yes or no? And there's no right or wrong answer. That's the thing. Like, there's really not. It's however you're feeling in that moment, and you want to be true to that moment. You want to be true to yourself. And really, like, acknowledge, like, you know what? No, I don't really love myself today. So then think about that, and think about maybe how you can like yourself, or, like, that can be a part of your self-care. That can be a part of your progress and your progression, right? So I've been doing this for a few days, and people are really enjoying it, and which is kind of a surprise to me, because I just started one day to do it, kind of not thinking too much about it. Like, I was like, oh, this would be a good idea to use the poll feature in this way. And I did not expect to get so much positive feedback about it. So I really want to do more of those, because I think a big part of self-care that we don't always think about is the act of checking in with ourselves, right? So whether that's just like for a minute of your day so that you're able to kind of just really sit with yourself and think, how am I doing? Do I need water? Do I need food? Do I need rest? You know, all of those things. Like, that is, that's self-care. Checking in with yourself is totally self-care. And we don't do it nearly enough because we're not really taught to do that, especially in a capitalist society. Capitalism doesn't care how you are, right? Capitalism just cares that you work hard and that's it, right? So I think it's really important to continue to kind of, you know, lead these conversations with ourselves and each other too. You know, that's why it's great to talk with friends and ask your friends how they're doing. And, you know, of course they can choose if they want to say anything about it or not. But, okay, now I'm going in with Parallel. And I already have my foundation on, so like you know, will have some fallout, I'm sure. I don't know. People seem to really hate fallout and have like, it's such a scandal. And for people who don't know, I mean fallout with eyeshadow pigment. When you put it on, it like kind of will fall on your face. I just kind of assume that's going to happen with all eyeshadows, so I don't really know why it's such a big deal for some people. I don't know. And there are ways to get around that. You can always like put, you know, you can do your foundation last. You can always like put, they have like little eyeshadow guards that you can put under your eyes, specifically for that reason. Like, I mean, the more pigmented it is, the more potential fallout. So I don't really care about fallout. Like, it's not that big of a deal to me. But I know it is to some people. Anyways, so I am still applying Parallel now, that brown, chocolate brown shade, which is a really pretty brown. I feel like I would use that just even by itself, like as like a liner or something. And I'm just kind of steepling it on really in the outer corner, and it's not going to look super blended right now, so just FYI, I promise I will attend to that. But yeah, like something, you know, like for me, like I said, makeup is a form of self-care for me, and it is for a lot of people I know. And so that's why I get really insulted and offended when like other people are like, oh, makeup is so stupid, or like whatever. Like, no, it's really not. It's an art form. It's relaxing for a lot of people. It's a form of self-care. Like, come on. So yeah, get with it. Get with the picture. Okay, now I'm going to go in with, what did I do the other day? I think I want to use both Eternal and Pyramid, so I'll show you these shades. They're super pretty. God damn it. Focus. So Eternal is like a golden bronze, and then Pyramid is just a straight up gold. So I'm going to put those like in the inner corners of my eyes. And if you have this palette, or you want this palette, or etc., please know that you will need to probably, where is my other brush? Okay. You will need to probably wet the brush to put some of these more glittery shades on. Just cause, I mean, that's kind of how it is, right? Like, they just don't stay as well if they're not wet. Okay, now I'm trying to find my other brush. Where is it? Okay, it's right here in front of my face. That's fun. So I'm gonna use this brush. It's kind of a big, maybe I should use a smaller one. Fuck it, I'm gonna do that. So I've been spraying my brushes with rose water. I don't know if that's good or bad, but whatever. It can't be that bad. I mean, you can just spray them with water too. It's not, you know, Don't have to be fancy. So I think I'm gonna go in with Pyramid first and do that kind of on the outer corners. Or sorry, inner corner is what I mean. Is that going on? I don't think that picked it up at all. Some of these shades are a bit difficult to pick up. Okay, that looks like it's working now. Like specifically the glitter shades. So make sure that your brush is well hydrated. Speaking of self-care, your brush needs self-care. But yeah, I mean, I get really offended when people are just like, makeup is whatever, like it's, you know, pointless or stupid, etc. Like, no, it's actually not. I mean, like, also painting my nails is for me part of self-care, like, because it's super relaxing. It's calming for me, and it always has been. I don't know why. In fact, I prefer to, even if I had the money to get my nails done, I don't think I would do it because I prefer to do my own nails because it's relaxing to me. It's calming to me, you know? Okay, this is going on. Okay, good, good, good. I'm liking it, I'm liking it. And like, obviously I'm having some fallout, but I don't really care. So yeah, these check-ins, I would encourage you to look at if you haven't yet on the Guerrilla Feminism Instagram page. They're typically in my Instagram stories, so I don't know if you can just see those without being on the mobile app, but oh my god. A little bit of a problem. It's all good. It's all good. We're fine, right? I have the camera in a very precarious situation, so it's my own damn fault, but I didn't really want to get off the couch, okay? I'm sorry. I knew that was gonna happen. Okay, so let's see if we can see this look. You can kind of see that, right? Yeah. I'll do a picture at the end too, or a better close-up rather. So I got the gold on. I'm now gonna go in with that bronze shade. So I'm gonna spray my brush again with some rose water, and then delve into Eternal. I'm kind of put that in the center of my lid, if I can. Maybe it's this brush that sucks. I don't know. Because I didn't have trouble with these shades the other day when I was playing around with them. I used a different brush though, so that could also be it, but so yeah, I'm just putting Eternal right in the center of my lid, and then I'll do that to the other side. So my whole point with this video, like what I really want to get across to people is that like your self-care is personal, and it can really be anything. Anything that is, you know, is an act of taking care of yourself. So that can also be something really difficult, like, you know, unchecking your privilege, whatever privilege you might have. Like, that is an act of self-care. We don't really talk about it as self-care, but it is self-care, right? Or I think it is. It should be, because you're wanting to get better about something. You're wanting to evolve, and I think, and check in with yourself, right? And so I think all of that is part of self-care. So self-care is not always like something that's gonna make you feel really comfortable or good in the moment. it might feel really hard and difficult. Or like therapy is self-care too, right? But that doesn't make it fun, right? Like therapy can be really difficult for people and can be a lot of hard work. But that's all part of self-care too. I think anyways. Okay, so ooh, I think this is coming along real good. So now I'm gonna blend out just my crease and all of that with this brush again. So I'm just kind of gonna, this is a fairly clean brush, I think. I don't know. Go on this side. So, almost done with that. So really, like, again, like, I think, you know, again, we don't think about things like drinking water or making sure you eat as self-care, and they are. Those are legit self-care activities. So if that's what you do every day, and like that's great, you know, if you're making sure that you're hydrated with water, I mean mostly, and you're eating, you're breathing, taking deep breaths and being mindful of your deep breaths, like that's all self-care, and you don't need to do extra self-care. I think sometimes what can happen for people, because I know I've felt this way, sometimes you can feel like, oh, I have to do like all of these things for it to be self-care, or, you know, I have to do things in this way for it to be self-care. And that's just not true. Like, you can drink water and that's self-care. You can, you know, spend some time meditating, or spend some time taking a few really deep inhales and exhales. That's self-care. All of those things are self-care, okay? Getting a massage is also self-care, but it is not the only form of self-care. And if that is inaccessible to you, which it is to a lot of people, because massages are not cheap, unless you have a friend who's willing to help you out with that or do a trade, that doesn't have to be your self-care, right? So just keep that in mind. Okay, so I am going to now put on some liner and mascara, and we will call it a look. Anyways, this is the final look. So hopefully you can see what it looks like. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. I think it's good. I did end up just putting the same shadows basically under my eye. So, and then eyeliner and mascara. So I'll I'll list everything I used underneath in the caption, and take care of yourself, practice self-care, do all of that stuff, drink water, eat, and try not to get bogged down by other self-care. All right. Let me know what you would want me to talk about next time, and I will probably do that. So I'll be back hopefully next week. I'll try not to let this go on as long as it's been before without a video, so apologies, but yeah. And thank you to my Patreon supporters. Your help means the world to me. Really appreciate it. I'm also going to be trying to do some more videos on there too, so I'll link my Patreon below as well if you're interested in subscribing. But yeah, I think this is pretty decent. Oh, I am wearing Fenty Beauty foundation, by the way, and I love it. So thank you, Rihanna, because you're amazing. All right, that's it for me. I'll see you online.